Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Art of MMA. I know you missed us. Okay, well, you missed him, but you might have missed me too. I'm Mike Ginn. That's the mechanic, Brandon Cuttino. This is Art of MMA. I know we were off for a few weeks while Brandon got ready for his fight. We'll talk about that. Of course, we're also going to talk about the controversy around Jeremy Stephens' weigh-in, the scale issues, how he was kind of pulling a little bit of a Daniel Cormier on that one. We'll talk about Joanna Jedrzejczyk. We'll talk about her career, some of our favorite moments, pay a little tribute to her retirement. And then we'll do what we do. Your lead dog, that's right, your lead dog, will be making the correct picks for PFL 5, Bellator 282, and UFC Vegas 57. And if you want to know who not to pick, whatever he says. But that said, make sure you check out fightersfirst.shop. Take care of the business of things. Let our apparel be a part of your story. And the last bit of promo I'll do before we get to the show. Coming up tomorrow, Cedric Goodrich, Fighters First. He's got a fight coming up July 16th. We sat down for Unfiltered. It is audio only, even though it will have some graphics and be on our YouTube channel. Had some technical difficulties with the video, so we kicked it over to audio, which is always trustworthy. Took care of that. Got you a great show. You hear all about his story and everything coming up with his fight on July 16th. But that said, Brandon, how you feeling today, buddy?
Hey, man, it's good. I'm feeling good, man. It's good to be back talking some MMA with you. You know, I know it's been a while. I'm sure the people missed the show. But, yeah, like I said, it's good to be back with you on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I know we're the B show behind Kicking It. And, you know, you got all your numbers and everybody loves you. But we're still here, too. But speaking of which, you did take a few weeks off. Or you had some training, getting ready for your fight. Didn't go your way. You want to tell fans at home what happened and, you know, your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, man, you know, like I say, guys, I had a fight this past Saturday down in Delaware for the promotion Gut Check Championship Series. A wonderful promotion, great people. Definitely looking forward to working with them again. Treated me very well. But yeah, like I said, you know, it just wasn't my night. You know, I know some people in the crowd, you know, they want to maybe blame the ref or blame the commission, but you know, it's all on me. Like I say, it was a chaotic first round. He knocked me down. I knocked him down. He knocked me apparently back down, you know, and then, you know, he swarmed me. I got a standing 8 count. You know, they stepped in and they said, you know, a 3 knockdown rule. You know, some people didn't really quite believe in the standing 8 count, the knockdown. But hey, like you said, you know, you live and learn. You know, I put myself in that situation, which I shouldn't have. But like I said, you know, after 33 months, been a long time. I was a little too anxious. You know, I just wanted to get in there, start banging. And you know, I kind of paid for it. So, you know, but I was fine. I was good to go. You know, I was ready to go for a second round. But, the commission stepped in and said, hey, you know, that was 3 knockdowns. We got to stop the fight. So, you know, like I said, I'm gonna heal up, rest up, and then hopefully maybe get something back in September.
I mean, it's just good to see you back in the ring again, doing what you do. I mean, you do a great job annoying me on a weekly basis here. But it's really good to see you go back to do what you're doing. And as they say, the rust is off now. So now it's time to get back to work. So we'll keep you informed if Brandon's coming fights. He's back in the ring. He's ready to go. So that'll be coming up soon. Brandon, I'm not going to take too much time on this because we don't want to make this a 2-hour episode. But we did miss some crazy stuff happening over the last few weeks. We got some new champions. The last fight card we picked was the Volkov-Rosenstrike fight. Give us some thoughts on that card, and then we'll move on to UFC 275.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, like I told you, I had a feeling that Volkov would take that fight, and which he did. Like I said, man, Rosenstruck to me, man, just sometimes, man, he just kind of been up and down. You know. But I knew Volkov had that reach advantage. Also, too, like I said, you know, Volkov can strike as well, and that's what he did, man. You know, Herb Dean had to step in and stop him.
I want to say this, and because you might never hear me say it again. While very awkwardly, because that's what Herb Dean does, very awkwardly, it was a good stoppage. It was a good stoppage. Rosenstrike was hurt. He might have bounced up afterwards, but at the moment, Volkov landed several unanswered blows. It was a good stoppage by Herb Dean. He was awkward, but he is a little awkward at this point in his life. He's a little bit clumsy, but he did the right thing this time. So you won't hear me say it very often, but that was a good job by Herb Dean stopping that fight. All right, go on. I wanted you to hear that. I actually said something nice about Herb Dean.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, that was it. I mean, that's all I really had to say about the main event for that fight.
And then we split on the co-main event because you took 50K, I took Evlov, and Evlov took that decision. And then there's a bunch of other things. Unfortunately, didn't go your way for your boy Trezano. He took the L in that one. It was just a really crazy card. Felice Herring retired.
Yeah.
KK finally got a win, and then Herring stepped aside. She's off to do some fitness competitions and some modeling. Damon Jackson with another win. Benoit Saint Denis, like you remember the last fight where he was on life support almost. This fight he looked phenomenal. So great performance for him. A lot of cool stuff. There was the weird split decision with Jeff Molina where I think he actually thought he lost the fight, but he actually won. So some stuff like that. And then your girl Erin Blanchfield, she's looking like she might be a future contender one day. So we'll see what happens with that. Good thing you didn't pick JJ Aldridge this time. Though you normally pick against her, but you might have been right this time. After that, we went over to UFC 275. We got a brand new champion. And if I can start off real quick on first, the reason we have a new champion is because Glover had horrible strategy. Because he was winning that fight. And then the best part of all, in the 5th round, when everybody was dog tired, Glover could have knocked him out. Every time Glover threw his hands, he had Yuri rocked. He should have never been in a position to get caught in that rear naked choke on the ground. The only reason they went to the ground is because Glover took him down. Glover kept trying to take him down. He'd land a combo and try to take him down. And I was screaming at the screen. I'm like, yo, just let your hands go. This fight would be over. What do you think, man? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, like you say, no, Glover was definitely winning that fight. He was definitely winning that 5th round. But again, like I say, dude, that was a crazy fight back and forth. Guys were just tired. And like I said, the resurgence of Glover Teixeira was like during this run was because he went back to his grappling, and that's what I think is what happened was he saw that he had Yuri hurt, he jumped the guillotine, and then he kind of paid the price for it. But yeah, if he would have stayed striking, standing, he maybe would have finished them, or at least he would have made it to the end of the round, and he would have still been champion. But hey, like you said, like we talked about me, same thing with Glover, man. You live and learn. It's another lesson for him to learn, and like I said, he'll move on from it.
Yeah, I don't think he's done by any stretch of means. He said he wants to fight a couple more years, but I just that's gotta hurt. That's gonna haunt him. I know he's saying all the right things, but that's gotta haunt him. If he watches that fight back and knows that all he had to do was just stay standing, and he was just lighting Yuri up in that 5th round. I know your instincts are go to what you go to, but sometimes you got to step away from yourself and be like, this is working. Let's just go with this. Or like you said, make it to the end of the round. He would have still been champ. The controversy, I think, comes in the co-main event, though. Valentina, I thought she lost. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see how she won the scorecards. I maybe gave her 2 rounds. I definitely didn't give her 3. And then one judge, I think, had it 49-46. I don't know what the hell that judge was watching. Takedowns were a big story. Wasn't a lot of damage with the takedowns, but Talia did a lot. What do you think of that fight?
Yeah, man. Is the scoring criteria? Damage. Like I said, Santos had Valentina's back, but Valentina was throwing those punches. Hitting her hard. With those punches, So I can see a judge giving Valentina that round because of those punches right there. There's the damage being controlled. Like I said, we talked about again MMA scoring. Like getting somebody's back is not something simple. It's not something easy. Like that is hard work right there. But to me though, you're not getting rewarded for your hard jiu-jitsu. The only time you get a reward is if you get a finish from somebody. So I mean, again, we've been talking about for a while, like saying. They need to revamp the scoring, man, to try to help out the people who
that fight was the epitome of open scoring. I think even Ariel was tweeting open scoring during that fight. Like we need it. We need open scoring. What do you think about the
headbutt? Oh, wait, say that again.
Who'd you have winning the decision in that fight though? You never.
Oh no, I too had thought it was Santos because I think I gave Santos the first 3 rounds, and I think I gave Shevchenko's round 4 and 5, but that's because I think the headbutt could kind of change things up for her.
The headbutt changed the fight. I thought that really hurt Talia so much. And then over there, it could have been even another main event if you want to consider it 3 main events. We saw Wei Li and Joanna go at it for a rematch. We'll talk more about Joanna after this segment or a couple segments from now. But Wei Li, she looks so phenomenal. Your girl Carla's in trouble. She's in trouble. As if Wei Li is next, your girl Carla's in, because Wei Li can wrestle. People don't really give her that much credit. She can really wrestle. You saw that with Rose. She arguably beat Rose the second time, if you were being honest about scoring the fight. Weili can wrestle, and if there's a slow fight like the way Carla and Rose did, where neither one wanted to go first, they both wanted to counter, and they just kind of circled each other for a while. Weili will go first. She'll go first every time. She don't care. And it was a fluke, or not a fluke, but like a freak knockout of Joanna, like with that spinning back fist out of nowhere. But at the same time, Weili was controlling that first round. She was, on her way to the second round. I wouldn't say Joanna couldn't come back because we've seen her in these wars before, but Weili is on the top of her game right now, and Zhang Weili is going to be a problem for Carla. It's going to be a problem. What do you think of that fight?
Yeah, man. It was an exciting fight. For how long it lasted. Like I said, the girls came in. They kind of continued where they left off in their first fight. Weili, she had that nice spinning back fist, and she ended the fight.
Put her completely out.
Yeah. Same, face down.
Yeah. And props to Jake Matthews, had a big knockout. Della Maddalena had a big knockout. Just so many great fights on that card. Little bit sketchy on the split decision, Chloe Bauer and Wu Choi, but that's why we go to the judges if you want to lose a fight. Because if you want to win the fight, you stop it early. Last couple things we'll talk about, and then we'll hop over into our segments. Real quick, your thoughts on Josh Emmett and Calvin Kattar? Bad decision?
Yeah, no. No. Like I want to say, like Emmett. I think what is it? I think Calvin Kattar definitely to me took rounds 4 and 5. And I probably gave Emmett the first 3 rounds. So I think you maybe could have given Kattar. I think it could have been the second round, maybe, or something like that. It could have been close, but not. I don't want to say the first 3 rounds, but Emmett and Kattar definitely took rounds 4 and 5 for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it was controversial. I think it was razor close. I think either decision would have been fine. I think, once again, you don't want to lose a fight, don't leave it to the judges. I think Kattar had the advantages in some points, but there was times where Emmett had the advantage on the feet, where he was bullying him and rushing him, and Kattar was backing up. So that was a really fun fight to watch. I think Emmett's a little delirious, trying to call for title shots and that. I think Volkanovski would destroy him. I think Max Holloway would destroy him. And that's not an insult to Emmett. That's just the levels. We talk about the levels to this stuff all the time. I think
but hey, man, you look at Taila Santos, man. She was ranked number 5, and she got a title shot. Emmett's calling the shot, because if you look at everybody else in the rankings, like either Volkanovski fought them or Max fought them. So depending on who wins between Volkanovski and Max, to me, Emmett has a good shot because he hasn't fought either one of them.
Who's fighting is Yair Rodriguez against who? It's 2 and
Ortega.
3, right? Yeah, Ortega.
Exactly. Ortega Ortega fought Holloway and Volkanovski. Rodriguez fought Holloway. So Rodriguez, if he wins and Volkanovski wins, he could fight Volkanovski because they haven't fought yet.
Yeah, but I was going to say maybe Emmett has one more. If Emmett could, if he fights the winner of Ortega and Ortega and Rodriguez, say for whatever reason the winner of Volkanovski Holloway takes a while to recover, because that's going to be a war. They're not going to hop right back in the cage after that fight unless something crazy happens early. And if Max wins, there's probably going to be a 4th fight between those two. So then you're stuck waiting, because every fight between those 3 have been razor close. I think Max has won at least one of them, if not both. But actually, now I'll give Volkanovski clearly the first one, but the second one I think Max won. I think he clearly won the second one, but that's MMA judging. But I think I could see Josh Emmett fighting the winner or even the loser of Ortega versus Rodriguez, and then if he won that one, maybe making a claim. But he's coming from 7 or 8 to number 5 because he beat a top 5 guy, but he wasn't highly ranked before that. He was high, but not high, not 5. But so I think he has one more, then maybe.
Oh, I guess we could look at the rankings, because I'm saying he did beat Calvin Kattar, and Calvin Kattar was in the top 5. So that means
I think he's at number 5 now.
They got to move him up. So yeah, like I said, man, that's where Santos was, So I don't see why he can't get one either now.
Well, in fairness, Santos was in line for a while and just was always hurt. Josh Emmett's number 4 now. He jumped Cater. So, I mean, yeah, I could see him getting one, but do you think he stands a chance against, say, Volkanovski's still champion? You think he beats Volkanovski?
I mean, hey, man.
Volkanovski can wrestle. Volkanovski can stop the takedowns and has great hands. I just don't see a good matchup for Emmett.
I mean, we'll see. Hey, man, I'm just all about seeing the guy get his shot, get his chance, and we'll go from there. You know, like I said, man, he does got power in that right hand. He could catch him. Like you said, nobody was giving Santos a chance, and then boom, you saw the fight.
True. Seen that a number of times. We saw that with Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes against John Jones. See it a number of times. Real quick, co-main event. Crime fighting Kevin Holland got the win. Nice to see him back in the wins. He's like dreaming of championship shots. So we'll see. I think he has a little ways to go for that. Buckley with another big stoppage. Just a number of great fights. And then the best thing of all on that card,
Phil Hawes,
Adrian Yanez.
Yeah.
Just shutting up Tony Kelly. Just putting him to sleep. That was a wonderful thing. And for Miley Cyrus, her boyfriend, well, Julia Marquez wishes he was her boyfriend. He got put to sleep too. So unfortunately, what were you saying was your moment?
I said Phil Hawes, getting that dub, and then him and DC.
DC.
Yeah, having a little spat.
Actually, the sad thing is that it turns out, I guess, Wynn broke his orbital socket or something like that. Something crazy. And then crazy knockout right before that. Dolidze knocked out Dawkins right before that too. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I think that card had the most knockouts in UFC history.
I think there was 9 stoppages and I forgot how many were knockouts, but
yeah, I think it's set a record for most stoppages in UFC history, and TKOs and knockouts. So UFC Austin was fun to watch. I had a good time watching that one. Last thing we'll talk about before we get to our segments, which kind of leads us into our first segment. PFL 4 last week. Clay Collard took the tough loss. What do you think of that split decision? I don't really know if I agree with that decision, but like you said, don't leave it to the judges. That seems to be a theme of the show.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's that's how it can be. I mean, especially too with some of the scores that they had for it.
I think the crazy thing about all of it, and by the way, congrats to Shoeface, Antonio Carlos Jr. doing his thing. Alvin Mercier with the upset over Roush. That kind of mixes things up. Jeremy Stephens got the split decision win, which it just throws everything in chaos. And then a number of others. Nathan Schulte got back on the wins against Marcin Held. Sorty took another loss, which is kind of crazy. He's kind of falling down a little bit. But the way the playoffs are set don't make any sense to me, Brandon, because now, depending on what happens, I guess next week or this week. So basically, Clay Collard, who has a split or has a win over Jeremy Stephens.
Mm-hmm.
But based on what happens coming up, somehow Jeremy Stephens, who both of them are 1-1, somehow Jeremy Stephens could get the 4th playoff spot and Clay Collard would be out again. Shouldn't Clay Collard at least have some benefit from head to head?
And I can't remember what the PFL be looking at. Like I just know their point system, and I just know it's usually like, hey, first round stoppage is 6 points, second is 5, and third is 4. For if you go to decision win, it's 3 points. But I don't remember what their other things that they be looking for.
They should have the exact same points. Both of them won and lost by split decision. Because didn't Clay Collard beat him by split decision?
So it should be 3 points. So it's 3 points a person then, right?
Yeah. And if you go look at it, Clay Collard beat Jeremy Stephens. So why would Jeremy Stephens get the spot? Like, that makes no sense. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just don't understand. Hey, Ray, call me. I don't understand what's going on, bro. You got to make sense of that to me, because that just don't make no sense. And then on top of it, we'll talk about it next segment, but everything that happened with Jeremy Stephens, he shouldn't even deserve to be there, in my opinion. But overall, pretty awesome, fun card. Looking forward to talking about later at PFL 5. Deep breath, Brandon. You ready to get back to work?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. First segment of the day. We just kind of hinted at it. Should PFL punish Jeremy Stephens? We all saw it. He had trouble making weight. He shaved his head. He shaved his famous beard. Clean shaven as a baby. Had the towel.
he was playing footsie with the scale. Was his foot on there? Was it half off of there? I mean, at least he didn't do like a Daniel Cormier and push down on the towel. It's clear he cheated the scale. And we also know that so far PFL hasn't said a single word about this. Do you think they should punish him? Do you think he should be like kicked out of the playoffs or something like that?
No. To be honest with you, I'm gonna say this is really on the athletic commission. They're the ones that see the weigh-ins and everything like that. So to me, it's on the athletic commission if they want to do a punishment and not the PFL.
But then again, last year the PFL intervened when the whole Fabricio Verdum thing happened. They turned that into they went to the athletic commission and had that turned to a no contest. So Ferreira got basically screwed out of a playoff spot last year because of that thing. Fabricio Verdum isn't even fighting for him this year. I honestly feel like it's a case they're going to war for the people they pay a lot of free agent money to, because Clay Collard doesn't make that much. Jeremy Stevens, I'm sure, coming in off the UFC, even though he had lost a bunch of fights, still probably demanded a bigger salary. I think this is more of a case of them turning a blind eye because they're paying the free agent money. And I think it's horrible for the sport, because you might say it belongs to the athletic commission, but it's clear. There's video evidence of what happened. And I know there's no instant replay in weigh-ins, but if everybody in the world can see it, it's a bad look for the PFL. I mean, I don't know if you agree with that, but I think it's a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they had their whole ordeal with the DraftKings scandal, and now they have this. So, like I said, like so far, saying they got a couple of things going on for them. Like I said, maybe they're just trying to lay low. They're not trying to bring any light to it.
Look, for a promotion that is angling for pay-per-view next year, a promotion that's angling for a lot of big things. Don Davis has big plans to go along with it, and I love Ray Sefo to death. I think he was one of my favorite people I've interviewed. I think Ray is great. However, I think everything from the World Series of Fighting and the scandal with Ali Abdelaziz to now is there's been corruption behind the scenes at PFL. And as much as they want to put on a great show, and they really do. I really love watching the PFL. I think every episode last season and this season has been really fun to watch. I don't think they're above reproach. I think they're almost pride-like. Like, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes at any given time. And that's not good in 2022 when transparency is everywhere. This isn't like 10 years ago where you might not have had, video behind the scenes. Now we see when, George Masvidal and Leon Edwards get into a little fight behind the scenes. There's cameras everywhere. We see what's going on. It's kind of hard to get away with crap. And Jeremy Stevens clearly had half his foot on the scale. He also didn't even want to put his foot on the scale. And for the athletic commission not to be able to go back and look at that is ridiculous. I mean, they should have seen that and said, okay, come weigh in again right now. But they didn't. And I almost wonder if PFL was leaning on him. Like, hey, let's let this go. Because this is also an athletic commission that doesn't really do a lot of fights in Georgia. They haven't had very many. XFC, that's the only one I could really think. That was the one, that promotion that Brad was supposed to fight for, right? This year?
Yeah, XFC. They've been there.
And then something happened with that. But yeah, that's there's not a lot going on in Georgia. So I think there could be some weight on the athletic commission. And I'm not trying to downgrade the athletic commission in Georgia, but they're not used to big fights. So I don't know. Leave a comment. As always, let us know your thoughts. Is it a big deal, or am I making too much of it? I haven't ranted in a few weeks, so I got some stuff I got to get off my chest. I got to go, Brandon.
And you just hating on Jeremy Stevens as usual. You just want him to be doing a bare knuckle fight.
I mean, if MVP can do it, I want to see MVP put his ass out to sleep. I'm gonna enjoy watching MVP beat up Mike Perry. That's gonna be fun. Moving on, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, Joanna champion. What a career. I mean, what a career. Former champion, not just in MMA, kickboxing and Muay Thai. And in combat sports, Joanna Jedrzejczyk is a first ballot Hall of Famer. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer in the UFC. Some of the fights she's had, some of the rivalries she's had, and that's not even capping off what she just finished off having the last two fights with Zhang Weili. even if those two fights never happen, Joanna's a Hall of Famer. So I want to take a moment. I'll let Brandon share some of his memories, his favorite stories. I'll share some of mine. Make sure you folks at home leave some thoughts in the comments and on social media. And you know, I think, like I said, first ballot Hall of Famer. Brandon, you agree with that?
Yeah. She definitely is. For what she did for women's MMA. Like I said, and also too for what she did for her homeland country of Poland. Being a champion, representing Poland very well. Like I said, I mean, I really know Joanna really from her rivalry with Claudia Gadelha. I was a Claudia Gadelha fan. So that's how I really learned about, Joanna, it's from that whole rivalry. And yeah, like I said, she had a nice run as champion, dominating. And then even her one fight that she had with Carolina as well, her fellow countrywoman, that was big. That was big for Poland, and it happened at Madison Square Garden as well. So yeah, she definitely had some good moments.
I want to take a look back at something that should be near and dear to your heart. From 2009 to 2013, Joanna Jedrzejczyk was one of the greatest women's Muay Thai and kickboxing champions. In Muay Thai, she won the world championships from 2009 to 2013 every year. She won several kickboxing, J-Girls, and all that stuff championships in kickboxing. There's videos of her kickboxing on YouTube that you can go look at that she is just raw. Like, she is just like ready to kill. And she comes out full of fire. And, we saw that in her MMA career. She was never really a takedown grappling person. She was always, that more kickboxing in the cage as well. The Claudia Gadelha fights always stand out to me as some of my greatest rivalries I think I've seen with her. The fights with Rose didn't go her way, but I really think that was a situation where it's just a bad matchup. Matchups make fights, and I think Rose just had her number. Wei Li had her number. But if you take away Wei Li, Rose, and Valentina, 3 champions, Joe's undefeated. Undefeated. And that's talking about beating Jessica Andrade. That's talking about beating Tisha Torres, Michelle Waterson, Claudia Gadelha, KK, Jessica Penny, Carla Esparza, who's the current champion. I mean, she destroyed Carla the first time they fought. Like, just destroyed her. Now she's champion. You go back, and then you're talking about – and by the way, she also beat Carolina in the amateurs too. Like, one of her 2 amateur fights, she actually beat Carolina too. So that was kind of crazy. Her fight in Australia at UFC 193 brought in 1.1 million buys, which, let me tell you, in 2015 for a women's fight, that doesn't happen very often. She's been a legendary figure in the sport. Like I said, her Muay Thai and kickboxing is just insane. I think I can speak for Brandon when I say, good luck in your next chapter. I know she wants to be a mother. She wants to do some other things. She's like 35, 36 years old now. So, it's time for her to go to the next chapter in her mind. And, coming off a loss like she did, I really wish some people, when they get knocked out like that, they kind of wait a second, think about it, and that's the decision they want to make, because it's such an emotional decision to do it right after you get knocked out. But I think she already had in her mind, at least from what I've heard afterwards, that if this fight doesn't go my way, that's it. And even if it does go my way, it might be it also. She just wanted to fight one more time. She wanted to get back in that cage one more time to get it out of her system. But, you kind of see levels to it, right? Wei Li is at this point. If they fought, 5 years ago, it might be a different fight. But right now, Wei Li at this point is at a different level. Joe admitted it, passed the torch, if you will. And here we are. But I think Joanna Jedrzejczyk, a.k.a. Joanna Champion, I think she'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Make sure you leave some comments, share your memories with Joe. Tell us what your favorite rivalry of hers was, what your favorite fight was. I think every time she ever stepped in the cage, I think it's a lot like Valentina. Every time you step in the cage, it's going to be a show. It's going to be a show. So, any final thoughts on her career, Brandon?
I mean, like I said, just I mean, also too, I think what really helped her out too was when she had moved down to America Top Team as well. I think that definitely helped her out as well.
Mike Brown helps a lot of people out. Former WEC champion.
Yep.
I wish Mike Brown would get more credit than he does, because that dude he's not only a former champion, but he's a coach of many champions. The move to American Top Team was big. But yeah, great career for Joe. I think she'll be a Hall of Famer, and I can't wait to see what's next for her in her personal life, because fighting's great, but it's not everything, and there's a lot of things for us to do. So, all right, now is my favorite time of the show. The lead dog gets to hop back on and keep on running and running and running. I swear to God, I might have canceled the show if I didn't go into the break as a lead dog. I'm just saying. No, I wouldn't have. I'm humble. I would have eaten the humble pie and let Brandon continue his high horse. But it feels much better to be lead dog. I'll say that. All right, Brandon. This week on the 24th, PFL 5, Bruno Cappelozza versus Scheffel. We also got Anthony Pettis in action. Henry Ferreira, Chris Wade, all those guys. We're going to jump right into it, starting with the main event, PFL 5, Bruno versus Scheffel. Who you got, and tell me why.
I got Cappelozza, probably going to get a late stoppage again. That's kind of how his fights have been going lately. So I'm thinking probably a late stoppage, maybe second, third round. And you see with Scheffel, most of his losses are by KO. So I mean, that's right up Cappelozza's alley. So I'm gonna say Cappelozza. He's gonna get the job done.
I don't even think it's gonna go late, Brandon. To be honest with you, I think first, second round. I think this thing's done. I think Bruno Cappelozza is going to run through him, like you said. He is susceptible. Matthias is susceptible to, if I could talk straight today, susceptible to the knockout. And I think the way Bruno's been lightning quick since moving up to heavyweight, much faster than most of the heavyweights, and able to take a shot too, which is great. I'm on that Bruno train until he loses, because this guy I think is going to the moon, and I don't think anything's going to stop him from getting a second straight title, in my opinion. But yeah, Bruno is my pick for this fight. Over in the co-main event, we got Anthony Pettis, who bounced back his last fight. He's fighting Kyle Bochniak. Who you got?
Anthony Pettis is fighting Stevie Ray.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stevie Ray. I got the Chris Wade fight mixed up. I'm sorry. Thank you. That's why you're my best co-host ever.
I got Anthony Pettis. Like I said, I think
you corrected me, and you're not even taking Stevie Ray.
Nah, man. Sorry. I like Stevie Ray. You're from Scotland and all, but I'm going Anthony Pettis. Like I said, man, dude, the last time Anthony looked out, man, he looked like old school Showtime, shredded, in shape, mind's right, focused. He's ready to go. Like I said, I think he's going to get the job done as well.
Man, I wouldn't even take Stephen Ray if Booker T was in his corner. There's no way. I'm taking Anthony Pettis all day. You're not going to get any extra picks on me this week on this show. We're in alignment with the main and co-main event. Yeah, you're right. Pettis looked great last time. And it's not that I even think he has to look his best. I don't think Stephen Ray is on that level. I just don't. And it's not a disrespect to Stephen Ray. I just don't think he's fought the level of competition. But you don't fight that level of competition until you do, right? So anything can happen. But I got Anthony Pettis. We're going to start doing fight picks for every single card, and then just basically highlight and run through them, so we don't show favoritism to the UFC like Brandon always accuses me of doing. So Brandon, tell me who your fight pick is on this card.
I'm going with the fight right before the co-main. I'm going with the Wade a Bochniak fight, and I'm going with Chris Wade. You know, like I said, man, to me, ever since Chris Wade has dropped down to 145, I mean, the dude has looked really sharp, except for the final of last year. But other than that, man, he just looks on point. So I'm going with Chris Wade.
I mean, in fairness, Cappelozza is went through so many people. So, I'm actually picking the guy we talked about a little bit earlier, Henry Ferreira. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to knock out Abreu. Henry Ferreira has been on a mission since he got screwed last year, and I think he's the only guy that might stand up to Bruno. I think he's the only guy because he's so much bigger. You know, he stands. You know, he's gigantic. He's 6'5", 6'6". Henry Ferreira is a big dude. And we haven't seen Fabricio Verdum since. Anyway, that's my pick on that one. Also on the card, you got everybody from former finalist Ante Delia in a heavyweight fight against Graves. Bubba Jenkins, we always love Bubba. He's on there. Lance Palmer's on the show. Brendan Loughnane is on there. So a lot of good fighters to watch. PFL on the 24th. Make sure you check it out on ESPN 2, I believe, this week. Also this week, we got a couple other cards to talk about. Bellator 282, Brandon, headlined by Gegard Mousasi, going against Johnny Eblen. Speaking of American Top Team, Kayla came out today. She was doing like an Ask Me Anything, maybe today or yesterday, on her stories on Instagram. And somebody asked her, said, who do you think is the next big fighter to come out that nobody's really talking about American Top Team? And she said, and new, Johnny Eblen. Is she right or is she wrong?
She's wrong. Gegard Mousasi, man, he's rocking it. He's killing it right now, 185 in Bellator. Like I said, I mean, hey, could be wrong. It is the fight game. Things can happen, but I'm going with Gegard Mousasi. The experience, I'm saying, man, he's staying active now. Like I said, he did just fight, earlier. So he's staying active. There's no long layoff. So to me, he should still be on point.
I mean, I don't know why Kayla would be so arrogant, because the last fight he had was against American Top Team, an undefeated Austin Vanderford. And guess what? He knocked him out in the first round. I think Johnny Eblen's is going to be another victim, because Gegard's just getting better. He's just getting better and better. I think he has some kind of psychological edge on American Top Team. I think he's in their heads. They're not going to beat him this time either. I like Johnny Eblen a lot, but this ain't his fight. And I think Gegard Mousasi. So far, Brandon and I have been like on the same page. I'm hoping at some point we start mixing it up a little bit to give you guys something to talk about at home. But the co-main event, I think we might actually be going different directions. Leandro Higo versus Danny Sabatello is going to be a war. Who do you got in this one?
This time I am going to go with American Top Team. I'm going with Danny Sabatello. Dude's just, man, he's all about it, man. He's about it. I mean, he definitely doesn't like Higo. Talking a lot of smack. Every interview I hear him, man, he's always just saying how they're going to fight either in the cage or in the parking lot. Higo doesn't, make weight, all the time and everything like that. So, I mean, he could be, he could be mentally weak from that. But I just think Sabatello has the wrestling. He's gonna drag him down to the ground and pound him and finish him off.
My thing with Danny Sabatello is he hasn't fought much competition, and all he does is talk shit. He talks shit to the UFC fighters. He's been challenging UFC fighters, even though he's in Bellator. He's talking shit about Higo. Higo's fought some of the toughest dudes in the division, including Ricky Bandejas and all those guys. I'm taking Higo in this one. I think Sabatello is going to get some humble pie in this one because, for one, a lot of his fights go to decision. The only time he had really stoppages was in the regional scene. Danny Sabatello's only had, if you count the Dana White Contender Series fight, 3 fights on a major promotion. Everything else has been regional from Titan FC and on. And he's only been fighting professionally since 2018. Higo has a lot longer resume, fought a lot tougher fights. He just beat the former, champ Caldwell. It was a split decision, but I do think it was a good decision. Bandejas, Sean Bunch. He also fought Caldwell and Pico before that when he lost. And he's bounced back. I think right now Higo's fighting some of the best fights of his career. And I think overall, I think Higo can go places that Sabatello can't. I know Sabatello has submissions, but it's just a different level when you're talking about some of the Brazilian stuff that Higo does. So we'll see. It's going to be a really fun fight. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong in this one, but I think Higo's going to take the decision in this one. Or maybe even get the stoppage with one of those shots to the liver or something like that he likes to do. We'll see. Who is your fight pick in this one?
I mean, of course, I did think about going with my girl, Kat Zingano.
I was shocked that you didn't take the Kat Zingano fight. I'm going to tell you that I was shocked. I almost wrote that in for you.
But I'm going to go with my other guy who I've been really high on. I've always talked about him every time I see him on the card, and that's Lucas Brennan versus Johnny Soto. I'm going with Lucas Brennan. Like I said, man, dude has just been on, he's just been looking good, in all of his fights. So I think he's gonna get the job done. I'm staying on the Lucas Brennan on my hype train.
Let me tell you, I wanted to pick so many fights on this card and ended up picking, I don't want to say a sure thing because there's nothing sure thing in MMA, but I took like probably what I think is going to be the surest bet. Cody Law over James Gonzalez. Cody Law's a star. He is knocking everybody out that gets put in front of him. I think Bellator's taking their time with him. But he should be on the main card, like knocking people out every fight now. Like this guy just puts everybody to sleep. He's like kind of like Rory McDonald with the suit and the tie and like kind of like that serial killer type look, hitman type situation.
I like Cody Law a lot, and I think he's going to do it again over James Gonzalez. But this card is stacked, Brandon. You got Magomedov versus Barzola. You got Kat and Sorensen going at it. You got we just talked about Brennan Ward on the Cedric Goodridge interview because Cedric could have beat him back in the day. That's one of his wins. He fought Brennan Ward a long time ago. Brennan Ward's still doing his thing. It's just another thing where it shows that Cedric Goodridge never ducked a fight. He took all the toughest dudes on. He's fighting Cassius Kane. Brett Primus is in action. So they got who's who on this card. Some great lady fights too. You got Lara and Joanne. And a deep card too, like deep. I think there's like 15 fights on this card. So it's gonna be a long night for whoever's in the stands for that card.
Yeah. I was thinking about going to it because it's up in Mohegan Sun, but the missus, she hates that drive to Connecticut. So
you just got to go to Delaware. I think you need to take a few weeks.
Yeah.
Though I could have got you a press pass if you had told me.
Yeah.
You could have gone for free.
So
you could have gone from fighter to media. You do like the UFC guys do on the shows. All right, last fight card to talk about before we get out of here today. Trying to breeze along, not keep you guys here for 2 hours plus. UFC Vegas 57. Back in Vegas for this one. Tsarukyan versus Gamrot. You also got Neil Magny versus Rachmanov. A bunch of fun fights on that one. You got Umar Nurmagomedov, Thiago Moises. We'll talk about those. Start off with the main event, Brandon. I know this is a tough pick. Who you got, Tsarukyan or Gamrot?
I think I'm gonna go with Gamrot. Reason why is because I think he has the reach. I mean, he's taller, 5'10" to 5'7". But the thing is though, Tsarukyan does have the reach on him. But I mean, striking wise though, I want to say Gamrot does land just a little bit more. And then plus two, but Gamrot does get hit a little bit more as well. But I'm still gonna go with Gamrot though.
This is real tough for me because I'm a big fan of Gamrot.
Yeah,
and I know that Tsarukyan's last loss came like a couple years ago to Makhachev, so it's not no shame because Makhachev is up next for the title. But I'm sticking with Gamrot. I think Gamrot's only loss was arguably fight of the year against Cuttino in a Rock'em Sock'em Robots type fight. And then he's come back since then and just demolished his last three opponents, including a very tough Diego Ferreira, who we all remember that fight with Conor Gillespie, how tough Diego is. Gamrot ran right through him. So I think that says more for Cuttino than it does anybody because he stood up to him. But that was also Gamrot's UFC debut. So maybe a little bit of butterflies, maybe what. But I think Gamrot's going to come in, take care of business. This is going to be really hard to pull away from you this week because we got like one fight really that's been different. Over the co-main event, we might be different here too. See if you take the homer pick. Neil Magny versus Shavkat. Shavkat Rachmanov. Who you got?
I mean, I know my guy Luke Thomas is real high on Rachmanov, but I'm just such a Neil Magny guy. I knew it.
I knew you're gonna be a homer.
I'm just high on Neil Magny, man. Dude, to me, Neil Magny is that guy, man. He is that he's that guy. If you really want to see where you are, you go up against Neil Magny. Like I said, Magny wanted that Chimaev fight, but the UFC wouldn't give it to him. But now they give him Rachmanov. So I'm just gonna go with Neil Magny and see what happens.
I've been first of all, forget Luke Thomas. Okay, I've been high on Rachmanov. Like every time he fights, I'm like all over that train. If it wasn't a co-main event, this would have been my fight pick of the night. This is young Khabib right here. He rocks out with the sheepskin hat. I love Rachmanov. This dude's a monster, and I love Neil Magny too. But you know what? Rachmanov's on a freight train. He was on a bullet train to the top, and I think Rachmanov is going to run right through Neil Magny. And I hate to say that, but I don't think it's going to be even a contest. First, second round stoppage. Rachmanov. Magny might give him a little trouble with his length and his veteran experience. Maybe find a couple ways to give him trouble, but I think Rachmanov's going to catch him, whether it's submission or knockout. This guy can do it all. I think this guy's going to be a champion real soon. He's going to be up there fighting whoever is the champion at that point within the next couple years. I believe it. Fight picks of the night.
who are you taking for your special fight to watch this time?
I'm gonna go with my guy Thiago Moises. I'm going with him versus Christos. I don't even know how to say his last name, Giagos. But that's what I'm going. I'm going with Moises. Like I said, he's been looking sharp lately.
I think it is Giagos.
Yeah. So I think Moises is gonna still get the job done.
Funny enough, Tsarukyan actually beat Giagos in one of his last couple fights. Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I'm kind of sticking. I don't even know if this is an easy pick or not because this is actually a trap, like one of those trap type fights. But I'm taking Umar Nurmagomedov against Manis. I think Nathan Manis is no joke. I think it could be one of those trap fights that could give Nurmagomedov his first loss. But until I see it, I'm rocking with that as train as well. I think Nurmagomedov's going to be another contender for a while. All part of that could be, Tree and they wrestle bears, dude. What are you going to do wrestling him? You're a human. You ain't touching them. These guys are on a different level. And I don't think Manis has the striking to really give him trouble. And if your wrestling's what you go to, you're not going to do it against a Dagestani guy. So I just picked Nurmagomedov. But this could be a trap fight. It really could. Also on this card, man, so many fun fights. Josh Parisian's on this fight. Chris Curtis versus Rodolfo Vieira. That's going to be a fun fight. Olberg's back in action against Nchukwi. TJ Brown, who had like a war his last couple fights out. Paeva's out there. JP Bays versus Cody Durden. I almost picked Cody Durden just I thought that would be an easy win. I think JP Bays has never been the same since Cheyenne broke his heart. Your boy, I'm surprised you didn't pick Boom Boom Kelleher personally.
I was thinking about picking Jin Frey, but I stayed away from the ladies fight again. Dude, you would have picked against your girl Vanessa? Yeah, I would have. I was just thinking I'm just gonna stay away from lady fights this week,
I almost picked Jen also because I'm a big fan, but I think it's a tough matchup. I think it's a real tough matchup for both ladies. And I think it's a pick'em type fight. Both of them did damage in Invicta, and both of them have been up and down since. So I think Jin's in probably the best shape of her career, which is crazy because she's always been just chiseled, but she's putting on a little bit of muscle too. I think she's going to be a problem, but we'll see how that works out. A lot of fun fights on that card. Brandon, it has been fun to be back in the saddle with you. It's nice to get back in our rhythm. Hopefully you fans enjoy us being back. Make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Head over to fightersfirst.shop. Get the Art of MMA merch. Still get the Mechanic collection. We got a lot of fun stuff always coming for that. Looking to put some new stuff in the shop over the next couple of months. Get people excited all over again for the new season. Sometime around September, I think I'll start, or maybe August, I'll start dropping the fall collection, seeing what we can get cooking with that. But, hey, we appreciate you joining us, being back in action. Brandon, any final thoughts this week?
Let's say, guys, it's just good to be back. Good to talk some MMA. Good to hang out with you guys again. So, remember, just leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think of the show.
All right. Well, that is a wrap for the Mechanic, Brandon Cuttino. I'm Mike Ginn. This is Art of MMA. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and we will see you next week. We're out.
This is good shit.